Good morning and welcome to the Hedgehog Path. So, in my hand today, I have a beautiful golden key, and I want to explain to you the story of how I got this golden key. So, a few weeks ago, I went to the most amazing event called Manifest. I think I've spoken about it before, but it was a beautiful weekend, full of spirituality, mindset, manifestation, lots and lots of amazing speakers, lots of amazing workshops, and all that was in Newcastle. We went for the whole weekend and we just had the most amazing time. The energy was really high, and I came home feeling amazing afterwards. Anyway, after a couple of weeks, I started to think about the things that I wanted to do. One of those things was focusing on this podcast, and there are a few other things that I wanted to be um, doing with my life. So one evening, a couple of weeks after Manifest, I decided to ask for a sign that I was on the right path, that I was doing the right things, and that things would work out the way I wanted them to. I set the intention and I forgot. So later on that evening, what happened was I saw on Instagram that a lovely lady called Karen Kay, who did a workshop at Manifest that I really, really enjoyed. She did this beautiful fairy workshop. She did the most beautiful meditation, and it was just such a magical workshop. It was just so lovely, and Karen was such a lovely person. We really, really enjoyed the weekend, and we really enjoyed the workshop. So after her workshop, I actually started hiding some books. So I'm actually a book fairy, and what I do is I like to hide books around the place. I label them up with official book fairy stickers, so that when they're found, people can get in touch with the book fairies and let them know that they found a book. Anyway, Karen found one of the books. I think actually somebody found a book and gave it to Karen because the title of the book said something about fairies, so they gave it to Karen because she's the fairy whisperer. Anyway, so she did the most amazing thing. So after she found the book or was given the book, what she did is she got one of her own books that she wrote and she put the book fairy labels in it, and she wrapped it up in the ribbon and she hid her book. She wrote a beautiful message inside the front cover, and then she hid her book, and she posted a lovely reel on Instagram about her hiding the book. Anyway, so after Manifest, I had started following her on Instagram because honestly, her reels that she shares were just so lovely. And like I said, she was such a lovely person. And that night, after I'd set my intention and asked for a sign that I was on the right track, I noticed that she had posted a reel saying that she was in Waterstones in the town where I live. And I thought that was amazing. I thought that might be the sign in itself. Um, so I put a comment on there saying, welcome, because obviously that's where I live. We go into that Waterstone so often, so often. It's absolutely amazing that we didn't bump into her, to be honest. Um, and she replied to my comment, and then she sent me a message on Instagram to say she was in my local town and she was actually going to be doing a workshop, and if I'd like to come along, I could do. So I thought that was absolutely amazing. I thought, wow, what a synchronicity. Maybe this is my sign. So I replied to her. I organised a few things, found things needed to be rearranged a little bit. I organised a few things and I decided to go along to the workshop. I didn't know anybody there apart from Karen, who I'd met the once at Manifest 2 weeks before. Um, but I met a whole lot of lovely, like-minded people. It was just such a beautiful workshop. We did meditations. We, they pulled some oracle cards for us. There was a medium there who spoke to us. Um, there was just so much. It was just a afternoon, and it was just beautiful. In actual fact, the oracle card that was pulled for me and the medium actually pulled that card for me and gave me some interesting advice, which pretty much answered my question about whether I was on the right track. And that was absolutely amazing, to be honest. Um, she did say I was on the right track, but she also said that there's so much more that I'm not focusing on that I could focus on, and to maybe widen what I'm doing. So I will take that advice, and I will widen what I'm doing. Um, that was absolutely brilliant. Anyway, towards the end, Karen sat us all down and did a beautiful meditation. During that meditation, Karen actually called in the mermaids, and the mermaids came out of the sea and they handed us a golden key. And our visualization during the meditation, we were to visualize the one specific thing that we wanted, visualize the future. It was a beautiful manifestation meditation, and all of that vision that we've visualized for the future, we poured it all into this golden key that the mermaids had given to us, and we actually put that golden key in our hand, and that golden key was to remind us of the actual meditation and the actual visualization. So at the end, Karen asked us all to hold our hands out, and she placed an actual golden key in our hands, and that is the golden key that I'm holding in my hand today. The golden key with all of my intentions poured into it. And it was an absolutely amazing, beautiful meditation. And to actually have the physical golden key at the end is just beautiful and brilliant. So that is my sign. I am on the right track. And every time I want to go back to that vision of my future, of what I want, of what I am calling in, I only have to look at this golden key. And it sits on my bedside cupboard. And I see it every day when I wake up. And like I said, I'm holding it now. It's just so, it's solid and it's real and it's all in there. And this is the future that I'm envisioning. So I would like to invite you to think of something that you could put your vision into. What could you imagine? What could you put all of your future visions into that you could actually then hold in your hand and carry around throughout the day with yourself, and that you could look at every time, and every time you see that thing, you'll know that that is holding all of your intentions that you're calling in. It could be anything. It could be a key like I've got. It could be a necklace. It could be a crystal. Anything that means something to you, and anything that you can then anchor to that intention. Just to sit there and remind yourself every day of what's actually coming for you and what you're working towards. Thank you very much for listening again. I hope you've really enjoyed this episode. I will have another episode ready as soon as possible. And in the meantime, keep walking your hedgehog path. Thank you. Bye bye.